quick 2-gamer tonight for look. When we've got the 2 games and the 3 games, we're going to try to do them as much as we can, and we've got a nice 2-gamer. I do want to I don't want to say complain, but I'm a little tilted, and of course it happens the one night I don't play when my super sneaky buddy healed, who I've tried every day.
Oh, I thought of you. I thought of you.
And you know, my other one was at 6% ownership or whatever, DiVincenzo, and he puts it 47. So that, or actually I might have had 50. That was really tilting because if I literally could have found my way to build one lineup with them, I basically could have done anything else and probably been okay. I could have played just the straight chalk, and just a little tilting that I wasn't able to get back to the computer in time to play. All right. Any overall thought sheets, or we'll jump into game?
Yeah, let's start with like who do you like in the games here?
Orlando, and maybe it's a personal bias. I think it's weird. The Clippers are 8-point dogs, and I certainly understand why. I think they're going to lose by 30, or I think they're going to win the game.
What are the scores in the series?
3-2, both. 3-2 Cleveland, 3-2 Dallas. Dallas just beat the hell out of the Clippers in LA.
So Orlando is down 3-2, but at home.
And they've destroyed Cleveland both times at home.
And they destroyed Cleveland both times. What have they been doing with? And I know we've talked about this a couple of times. I haven't really been paying attention. What's Orlando been doing with their bigs?
So they switched back to Carter. Carter got his most minutes in the last game and actually played well, but there was no Jared Allen, and it's kind of interesting what Cleveland did. But Carter was the first game he really got there since he's been 4,300. But it's hard to find guys who are that cheap now. Today, they unfortunately didn't. Would they move him up to 44? Yeah, they didn't really move him up very much. So it's going to be hard to avoid him. So it was the Carter, was the main one last time. Isaac only played, I think, like 50. Isaac still played 22 minutes, which is usually enough for him to kind of get there. It's not a great matchup, it's not a great shot blocking matchup for him. So he's not going to go crazy. And then 14 minutes for Wagner. So you saw bits and pieces of all of them. They saw them together some. Carter with Isaac, Carter with Wagner, but that's basically what they've been doing over there. And I have to just say, going with this game, we need to know about Jared Allen, because he sat the last game, and
he did.
That's a big thing. And the fact that they're up 3-2, if he sits again, now the problem is what they did with his minutes, because they played Marcus Morris and Tristan Thompson the main minutes. Okoro started, played well actually, fantasy-wise, and then they didn't play him anymore after his first rotation in the second half, first rotation in the first half, first rotation in the second half. They went over to the bigger lineup with Morris, even without without Allen. For some reason, they still decided to go double bigs, and it works, so I guess I can't question it too much, but it was a little surprising to me that that's the way they decided to go. But yeah, I mean, it's as of right now, I think Jared Allen is a legit questionable. And if he's really questionable, maybe you sit him one more game and you hope you win without him. But you've always got him for game 7 at home if you need to. So that's where I'm at. You guys are getting the behind the scenes of Sheets' brain here.
Yeah, I'm just doing a really early Saber sim build and an early contest sim. And what I'm screwing around with now is doing something I don't do too often. That's doing geomean, which is just forced low ownership stuff for classic slates. And I don't usually do that. And I don't usually do that for the NBA specifically, but because it's a 2-game slate, I just want to see what that would look like if I did it. And that would look like not a lot different, actually. Still Luka, and actually the next highest owned guy I would get was that aforementioned Wendell Carter. Like you said, at 4,400 still. I guess he's just going to show up a bunch. And then Banchero, Allen, Derek Lively, I'd be getting a decent amount of. Russell Westbrook. This is just kind of what it would look like now. I see Terrence Mann is questionable. Is that real or not really?
I mean, with the Clippers, hard to know. I imagine Terrence Mann is going. They're going to do everything in their power to make sure that he plays. That's where I'm at. Yeah, that was rough. I can see over here. We got Brandon talking through it from our account. Like, yeah, he had a lot of great stuff. It was just the one Brunson. You needed the Brunson and either Buddy Hield or no, Brunson and DiVincenzo maybe instead of Hart and Halliburton. But it was a bold lineup, man. You really had some. Oh, no problem, Brandon. Yeah, you had a. I mean, that definitely had a really good shot last night in the big ones, and it was I felt like you deserved a little bit better, but it was tough with what Brunson did down the stretch.
I had a decent amount of the McConnell from Indiana and also the other guy. Toppin was doing well for a while. I don't know if they ended up smashing at the end, but the other guys from Indiana really didn't have to do too much. So
yeah, what Brandon did is something I would never do, and it almost like I'm not saying that it almost worked out perfectly. He had literally a chance because he played McConnell, Nembhard, and then he also played Halliburton, which is a strange 3-man, but it looked pretty awesome. It just was not going to be able to match McConnell's. Halliburton was never going to be able to catch Brunson's points. That's the only problem. But it definitely made a lot of sense the way the build worked, and he went 100% Embiid and Embiid actually I thought was going to have even bigger score. So maybe a little bit unlucky there for Brandon. It would have been nice to see him take one down. I was sweating it.
Yeah, that's the thing, man. And we talked about this before. I think we were talking about during baseball, or whatever. That like Jalen Brunson, he's just the man there, and he's going to shoot the ball every time that he can. Where Halliburton is still,
right.
He's still a facilitator.
Right. So 0 points after the first 16 minutes of the game.
He won't take a guy down and post him up and then do a just kind of a terrible fall away 3 that just goes in because the guy that can score. He's Halliburton's gonna find that other guy in the corner. He's gonna find Neesmith or Nembhard from time to time. So it's just Brunson just has that kind of upside nowadays, especially in the playoffs, right? Where you just got to do what you got to do to win.
Yep, and it was tough yesterday with the value, and I'm curious. I didn't look at who ended up winning, but I got to take a look, see if there was any Buddy Hield on there. I don't think so. I don't think anybody played Buddy Hield in the world yesterday, and it was 3K. Anyway, all right. So I just real quick, I'm gonna. So do you want to go through those, or do you want to? I'll just go through my things.
Yeah, just go through who you like. I mean, this is what I would come up with.
So I like Orlando to win this game first of all, the first game, and I think Mobley, and at least even with Allen, I would definitely make sure to have one of Mobley or Allen. I like the idea of getting to one of Mitchell or Garland, and Mitchell would be my preferred one. And I like the idea of getting to one of Struss or LeVert. Everything else is going to have to depend on whether Allen's playing. So that's sort of my, I'm not saying I'm going to play 3 from Cleveland, but those would be the ones I would target. I probably end up with 1 or 2 from Cleveland. On the Orlando side, love Carter, love Banchero, love Franz. Not going to play all 3 together. Probably end up with 2 of them. I like Isaac as a pivot, but he's not even low owned, so it's not really that much of a pivot. Mo Wagner is a reasonable pivot as well. And then I think Markelle Fultz had a good game the other night, and maybe they continue going with that, or maybe they say, hey, we lost, we go back to our normal rotation. I'm going to say it every slate, so I'll say Cole Anthony is your home run hitter bet that you play and pray. And I am going to call BS on the Clippers projections. I think that they're too low. Harden, look, he had the ultimate horrible Harden playoff game, as we've always seen in the last game. I really think that, I hope for his sake. I'm not saying I believe that he'll bounce back, but there's no way I'm not playing at least one of him or Paul George. That's it. Ty Lue is not going to pull everybody out off the court early this time. This is an elimination game. Zubac was dominant, but there's rumors about the Clippers potentially going smaller. And I think that, look, Westbrook, they didn't give him the minute. We didn't get the minutes we wanted. They got blown out. He would have gotten some of that run, but it was such a big blowout. They couldn't even get him that run. So you kind of have to throw away the last game. But I have it Westbrook as my next favorite, followed by Mann, followed by Powell. I actually think that Mann is the safest because he's going to play the minutes no matter what. But you know me, I'm probably going to end up playing Westbrook because the ceiling is so high, and I do think there's a path for him to get there. Other value would be Plumlee and Coffee. Between those two, I prefer Coffee slightly, but I think that they're both viable. And on the Dallas side, Luka is clearly a priority, but if you can't afford him, I don't mind switching and going to Kyrie. There is enough ceiling for him to get there, but I just don't like him better than Harden or George or Banchero, to be honest. And as I got that part right the other night, Sheets. I got the Derek Lively part. I was very happy with that. He only ended up with 23 points, but that's because of he got into different parts of foul trouble. And but he did play the 24 minutes, and my prediction was that it'd be the most minutes he played in the series, and he did. I think they keep going in that direction. They look a lot more athletic and better. So I would say Derek Lively is being under projected right now, and actually is a guy who I want to borderline prioritize. Derek Jones Jr. is the next one for me on Dallas, followed by PJ Washington, followed by Gafford, followed by Kleber. Kleber is definitely in play though, but the problem is like you look the other night and you would have thought Kleber was like putting up the biggest game ever because he made 5 threes, I think. He made 5 out of 7 threes, and he did it pretty quickly. He still only ended up with 22 fantasy points. He only played 19 minutes, but still, they definitely went more to that Lively look, and partly the blowout. You don't know what minutes Kleber would have played, but they had Kleber with Lively, and I do think this Lively thing is probably a really good thing to get overweight on if you're playing multiple entries today. So that's sort of my outlook. And again, I really think the Clippers are either going to win this game or they're be right there at least, and or they're going to lose by like 1 million. But I don't think I'm sort of have a weird feeling this series is going 7. It's just hard to imagine because the Clippers are. I mean, without Kawhi, they are definitely missing some firepower. So I'm expecting it to be a rust day. For what it's worth, yeah, Russ has been, statistically, the team is better with him on the court than any other player on their team in this series, and I think they might realize that and give him a few more minutes, even though he sometimes I don't understand, man. He's just an inconsistent shooter, and I wish he would have figured that part of his game out because he would be awesome. One guy I didn't mention, Gary Harris being questionable is massive because that makes all of my weird Orlando other plays like the Wagner, I'm sorry, like the Fulton, the Anthony, those guys would be owned and really both very, very interesting. I'm also curious who they would start. So we have news to find out before 7 Eastern. We'll cover this a little bit more at 6 Eastern when we do our live before lock for baseball. So we'll do the first part baseball, second part basketball, and go from there. Anything else, Sheets, before we get out of here?
Nope.
All right. Good luck to everybody today. We'll see you later on, and hopefully we'll see you at the top of the leaderboards later.